The shuttle bay doors hissed open, and I felt my secondary heart skip a beat. As head of student affairs at the Galactic Institute of Advanced Combat Studies, I had seen thousands of cadets arrive over my 30 cycles in this position. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for what stepped off that transport. She was human. That much was obvious from the bipedal gait and the ridiculous confidence that radiated from her like heat from a plasma core, but it was what she wore that made every single one of my eye stalks freeze in their sockets. Full combat armor. Not ceremonial dress, not the standard issue academy gear we sent in the welcome packet. Actual, honest to the void, battle-scarred armor that looked like it had survived at least 3 planetary invasions, and possibly a supernova. Is that really necessary? Whispered Krell, my assistant, his scales turning that particular shade of orange that indicated he was about 3 seconds away from a panic-induced molt. Apparently, she thinks so, I muttered, watching as the human, one Morgan Hayes, according to her file, clanked down the loading ramp with all the subtlety of a freight hauler landing in a library. The other new cadets scattered like startled prey animals. A young Vexian actually fainted. His friend tried to catch him, but ended up in a tangled heap of tentacles and disappointment. Morgan stopped at the bottom of the ramp, her helmet tucked under one arm. I got my first good look at her face. Young, maybe 22 in Earth years. Dark hair pulled back in what humans called a ponytail. Eyes that scanned the entire shuttle bay in approximately 2.3 seconds, cataloging exits, potential threats, and probably calculating the structural integrity of the ceiling supports just for fun. Administrator Vorn? Her voice carried across the bay without amplification, confident, clear, the kind of voice that expected to be obeyed. I straightened all 4 of my spinal segments and approached, trying to project authority, despite the fact that I stood roughly at chest height to this armored nightmare. Cadet Hayes, welcome to the Institute. I must say, your arrival is rather unusual. She smiled. It was not comforting. Yeah, I get that a lot. Where do I bunk? Before we discuss accommodations, perhaps you could explain why you felt it necessary to arrive dressed for a siege? Oh, this? She rapped her knuckles against her chest plate, producing a dull metallic thunk that echoed through the bay. Just being prepared. You know how it is. I assure you, I do not know how it is. This is an academic institution, not a war zone. Yet. That single word hung in the air like a grenade with a pulled pin. Krell made a small whimpering sound behind me. Yet? I repeated, my translator software triple-checking that it had processed the word correctly. Look, Administrator. Morgan shifted her weight, and I heard the servo motors in her armor adjust with a soft whir. I read the brochure. Beautiful campus, top-tier instructors, dining hall that supposedly serves food from 600 different worlds. Sounds great, but I also did my research. This school has been attacked 4 times in the last decade. Pirates, mercenaries, that weird cult that thought your library contained the sacred texts of their made-up religion. Those incidents were isolated events, anomalies. Anomalies have a habit of becoming patterns if you live long enough. She glanced around the shuttle bay again. Your security grid has 17 weak points, by the way. 18 if you count that ventilation shaft behind the fuel storage. But I am assuming you know about that one and just have not gotten around to fixing it yet. I blinked all 6 eyes in sequence, which is the Vornathi equivalent of a double take. How could you possibly know that? You have been on station for less than 5 minutes. Training. She said it like it explained everything, which, knowing what I knew about human military doctrine, it probably did. Plus, I got bored on the shuttle and hacked your maintenance logs. You really should update your encryption protocols. Some of that code is older than I am." Krell dropped his data pad. It clattered on the deck plating, screen cracking in 3 places. "You hacked our what now?" My voice had climbed into registers normally reserved for mating calls. "Relax. I did not change anything, just looked around. Think of it as a free security audit." Morgan bent down and picked up Krell's data pad, handing it back to him with surprising gentleness despite the gauntlets she wore. "Here you go, buddy. Might want to get that screen replaced." Watch the full video on my Spotify channel. Click the link in the description below.